Hello everyone, back into July CFS 6 months look ahead. So this video is going to take us, as the name implies, 6 months ahead with the CFS V2 model. So we're going to go from next month, from August, it's going to carry us right way through to the start of 2019. Yes, we're going to a brand new year. With the CFS 6 months look aheads from this month onwards. It's going to take us to January, covering the period from August 2018 to January 2019. It's just for fun, so it's just for a bit of a laugh, really. The first month or two does have some scientific merit, as we're looking at sort of August, September. Hopefully, if the model is working correctly, then there is some sort of science to what we're looking at there, because it's only a month or two away. But as you get sort of 3, 4, 5, and 6 months, just a snapshot of what the model is showing. So don't, whatever you do, take it too seriously. But I will show you the very latest charts. The charts are there, so you might as well look at them. I will show you the charts from the CFS V2 model for the next 6 months. Before this evening's video. Just say that earlier on today we released a weekend forecast. So that is on the week ahead weather forecast page. There's a written version with that as well. So have a look at that. It's going to be quite a hot week again coming up. And then also this afternoon we had a look at the weather for models for the next week to 10 days as well, with all of the latest on the heat wave. Right, so that's all of that done. What I've got to tell you about. Let's get on with the CFS 6 months look at it. We're going to start off by having a look at the 700 millibar height anomalies for the next 6 months, and then we will have a look at the corresponding temperature and precipitation anomalies that go with those heights. So we're beginning with August 2018, the final month of what has been a very, very hot and dry summer so far. So this is how August is shaping up, and we find that we have this area of above average heights over to the east of the country. You see it over here on this side of the chart as well. We do have some above average heights to the north of the UK as well. So it looks like it's a weak signal, but it looks like what's going on there is that we are probably forming sort of a largish ridge in that sort of area. And so what might actually be happening is that we could be dragging up fairly warm, maybe quite hot southeasterly winds once again in August. So again, it's quite a weak signal, but I think we might see the weather that we've had previous summer continuing really through the course of August. The only thing that could go wrong with that is this area of above average heights up to the north. If that becomes a bigger area of high pressure, then it would start to push this area of high pressures to the east, the above average heights to our east. It will start to move that over towards Eastern Europe. If that high gets over towards Eastern Europe and we expand the ridge to our north, then we would end the heat wave and we would turn the winds into a north or northeast direction, possibly even ride the jet stream in underneath. And turn things not only a lot cooler but also a lot more unsettled. There's not much suggestion of that on this chart. That area of above average heights to the north is a weak area. It looks like the main area of above average heights is to our east. So tentatively I would suggest that for August, CFS V2 implies that the heat wave is likely to continue. Then we go through into September, and this does look rather different in September. So this is month 2, and it is signalling a change here. We find that we get an area of below average heights, haven't seen one of those for a while, sitting just to the north and northwest of the country. Above average heights are to the north of Scandinavia, with that yellow area just there. So it looks like the high pressure is becoming kind of like a northern blocking type feature up to the north, with above average heights through the Central Atlantic just there. We'd be bringing the jet stream back through the course of September. So it's a weak area of below average heights to the north of Scotland, but it is implying that we might see something of a change there as we're going into September. A rather more unsettled and potentially cooler month as we go into September. We might see temperatures lowering, cooling off, and it could be a little bit more changeable in September after what could still be quite a hot August. Right, so we're up to month 3 now. This is October, so obviously reliability is falling away very rapidly. This is how October is looking, with below average heights up to the north around Greenland and Iceland, above average heights just to west and southwest of the country, also some above average heights over Scandinavia. If we come over to this side of the chart, we see we've got above average heights there and there, so that could be forming one large sort of ridge type feature. And again, through here, we could be forming one large area of high pressure, perhaps. So, after what could be a little bit more changeable in September, October might go back to high pressure and a fair amount of dry weather with the jet stream going up to the north. Of course, by October, if you're under high pressure, you have to start thinking about mist and fog, night and morning. But even so, you can still get some pleasantly warm weather in October, especially the first half of October under high pressure. So maybe we're going to have a bit of an Indian summer this year. It's 3 months away, though. That's month 3. So obviously reliability on that is falling away. But another change as we go through into November. So this is quite an interesting autumn that's shaping up here, because all 3 months look substantially different. This is month 4, so obviously very unreliable. Below average heights in the Atlantic, and we're bringing the jet stream down through the country as well. So after the dry signal for October, November looks much more unsettled. That's a bit of an Atlantic onslaught coming in November. Wet and windy weather, classically wet and windy from off the Atlantic in November, will bring to an end, I think, the prolonged dry spell, no doubt about that. Then we go through to December, so this is 5 months away. We are in the realm of just for fun now. So December looks unsettled. We've got an area of below average heights right over top of the country. Quite an interesting chart though this. We've got above average heights through the central part of the Atlantic and going down in towards North Africa. And also we have got some yellow going on up to the north, so that seems to have a little bit of high pressure to the north. The jet stream looks like it's on a southerly track. The jet stream would be to our south with that, in that sort of position. And so, depending on how much high pressure develops to the north, you would probably start to entrench cold air into that trough of low pressure. So that could be rather cold and unsettled as we go through to December. But do bear in mind it is 5 months away. And then January is also looking really quite interesting too. Look what's happening in January. We've got above average heights around Greenland, to the south of Greenland. Below average heights generally centred to the east of the UK this time. Some above average heights to the south, but they're a long way to the south. They're more like sort of to North Africa. And so, again, the jet stream is going to be down here somewhere, and you will be pulling cold air into that trough of below average height. So, just a few hints there, albeit months 5 and 6, so it's just for fun, but just a few hints that the CFS at the moment is playing with the possibility of a cold sort of early to mid-winter. Both December and January would have cold potential there, or interest from a cold perspective, let's say. And we won't say any more than that because that is month 5 and 6, so it's just for fun. Right, so coming back to the temperature anomalies that go with those heights, this is how August is shaping up with the temperature anomaly. So you see that again, much of Northern Europe is coming out warmer than average. At the moment, those warmer than average temperature anomalies only extend into southern parts of England and Wales. But I would expect over the next couple of weeks that we'll probably see, or next 10 days, we'll probably see that yellow and orange area expanding into the UK and Ireland. Broadly, it looks like August continues the pattern of the summer, which is for southern Europe to be cooler, so Spain and Portugal through the Med into southeastern parts of Europe. Those are the areas that are cooler to average. Bear in mind it's a Mediterranean, so it's still going to be very hot even if it's cooler than average. These are anomalies to average. So anomalies to average are cooler across southern Europe and warmer across northern parts of Europe. Now the UK and Ireland is only coming out close to average, a little bit above average in the south, but this is something we've been seeing up with the CFS V2 temperature anomalies over the past couple of months. So I suspect these will warm up over the next few days. We'll keep an eye on that. So I think it's still going broadly for a warmer than average or hotter than average month across much of Northern Europe, UK included, in August. September looks like that's much closer to average in September. So we have got a little bit warmer than average for Scandinavia and down into parts of northern Germany and Poland. Still cooler than average for Spain and Portugal and for the southeast of Europe as well. Otherwise, though, most parts of Europe are just coming out with average temperature anomalies in September. So it does look rather cooler month in September. That's October, and again we see that in October much of northern Europe is coming out on the warmer than average side. So I think we've got an area of high pressure that's from there and extending through to there as well. So after a cooler, and we haven't seen precipitation charts yet, but you'd assume wetter month in September, we go warm and dry again into October with the jet stream going up to our north in that sort of position. We're through to November, and that's coming out milder than average, which is what you would expect in November because it's a very Atlantic-driven month. We've got lots of low pressure in the Atlantic. We're bringing in the jet stream like that. So it's just wet, windy, and mild, I think, signal for November. We're through to December. Now, this looks pretty bad if you want a colder month in December, because most parts of Europe are becoming warmer than average. Don't worry about that at all. I'm not sure why or how it's getting to that. Let's remind you of the 700 millibar height anomaly in December. That's it. So I'm not sure quite how that 700 millibar height anomaly for December ties in with such a warm signal across all parts of Europe. So discard that at this stage. It's month 5 anyway, so it's just for fun. And that's January. Again, coming out very, very warm across most parts of Europe in January in those red colours. Again, how is the CFS coming up with such a warm month in January from that 500 millibar height anomaly? Bear in mind that the below average heights are up there, and around that you're entrenching cold air into that area of below average heights and over Scandinavia and into Western Russia. And with the added feature of above average heights around Greenland, that's just helping to push cold air down into that trough. So I really am very unsure how on earth the CFS V2 is getting such a warm month across Europe, UK included, such a mild month from that 700 millibar height anomaly. And all you can say is it probably is the warm bias within this model at work. And if we did get a 700 millibar height anomaly like that in January, that would be a much cooler, much colder actually for many northern parts of Europe, for UK and Ireland included, compared to what the model is showing there. So very dubious about the temperature anomalies that CFS is showing for December and January. It's months 5 and 6 anyway, so it's all just for fun and just for speculation. This is the precipitation part of the update finally then, so we're back to August. Most reliable part of all of this will be next month, hopefully. So this is how the precipitation anomaly is shaping up for August. Again, we see many central parts of Europe and also to northern Europe as well coming out drier than average, so obviously high pressure is dominant around here. Southern Europe, as it has been all the way through the summer, coming out wetter, more in way of precipitation to average anyway across southern parts of Europe, drier across northern Europe. The UK is a bit of a puzzle because our precipitation anomaly is average to possibly for Scotland anyway, hinting at being a little bit wetter than average. So if anything, it does imply perhaps a little bit more rainfall around in August. I think still overall we're looking at quite a hot month based on the 700 millibar height anomaly, but it could be more unsettled compared to what we've had through the summer. So the potential for more in way of heavy showers and thunderstorms perhaps in August. That's September. Now remember what's happening in September is that we've got an area of below average heights just to the north and northwest of the country. So it looks like the jet stream's coming southwards. Jet stream is going into that sort of position. So it does show a wetter than average month for Scotland and Ireland, near normal for England and Wales. Still a bit drier than average across Central Europe, but it's a weakening signal. I think overall what would happen in September is that high pressure is getting shunted off more towards the eastern part of Europe over here. The jet streams coming in to northern parts of Europe via those areas of low pressure. And it still looks quite unsettled through the Med, actually, through southern parts of Europe as well. But September possibly holding the prospect for something more unsettled, more Atlantic-driven and cooler compared to the summer months. Then we're back to drier conditions in October. So again, we've got the high pressure that's out to the west of the UK, and it's also up over Scandinavia. So we've got two sort of ridges that kind of look like they're forming one area of high pressure in that sort of position. And so, again, you would expect a lot of dry weather for northern and northwestern parts of Europe. The wettest conditions look like they're being moved down into the southeastern part of Europe down there. But overall, again, lots of high pressure through October for many central, northern, northwest parts of Europe. The jet stream also is going back northwards again in October. It's going into that sort of position. So, yet again, you would expect quite a lot of dry weather and warmer conditions in October. That's November. By November, we're bringing the jet stream back southwards again, running it through from the Atlantic like that. So it's a more unsettled month. Notice southern Europe is turning quite dry. So we've got high pressure down here, but we've got low pressure around there. And so you'd expect quite a bit of wet weather to be piling into the UK. That finally brings an end to the prolonged dry spell in November. We would have quite a wet month, I think, in November. December looks like that. It's looking really very wet across southwestern parts of Europe. So France, Spain, Portugal coming out wetter than average there. The UK also has a wetter than average, but remember the below average height is actually centred over top of the UK, but the reason it's wetter to our south is that that's where the jet stream is. The jet stream is going to the south of the UK, which means we're on the cold side of the jet, as is many northern parts of Europe also on the cold side of the jet. So how is it possibly coming out with such a warm signal in December? I'm not sure, but it would have some cold potential, most definitely, with the jet stream to the south of the UK. And then that is January. And again, you can see where the jet stream position is. The jet stream is going through in that sort of position. So we've got the high pressure going on around here, of course, in January. And the centre of the trough is actually up there, but the wettest conditions are where the jet stream is. That's the central parts of Europe. And so you're looking at a pretty cold month, I think, potentially in January, if that 700 millibar high tsunami comes off, with the winds coming out of the Arctic into particularly northern parts of Europe. Scandinavia, UK, Ireland could be quite cold in January, and dare I say it, with wintry potential as well. Do bear in mind that's 6 months away, so it's just for fun. But how the CFS managed to come up with such a warm month, particularly in January, but also in December, from the overall pattern, which is sending the jet stream south, and particularly for Scandinavia and the UK and Ireland, we're going on to the cold side of the jet there. So how we come out with such a mild month in January, I'm absolutely dumbfounded about that. But then again, the CFS is always looking for the mild option when it comes to winter. Anyway, don't worry about that. Let's concentrate on the next 2 or 3 months. So, what we can say is that for August, it looks like we just about hang on to this summer pattern in August. So, more hot weather could be expected, but maybe more unsettled, more changeable, with a risk of heavy showers and storms, perhaps. It looks like September does bring a change. So the above average heights gets shunted away. We get below average heights set up to the north of Scotland. Looks like September potentially is a cooler and more unsettled month as well. And then October, however, we go back to dry conditions again, with perhaps some warmer and drier weather returning in October before we unleash the Atlantic and go into a proper wet and windy month in November. That will be quite an interesting autumn, I think, with a lot of changes from month to month. Maybe we won't worry about 2 winter months at all at this stage. Right, so that's CFS 6 month okay, done and dusted. Don't forget to check out Weekend Forecast if you haven't yet done so, and the video on the homepage looking at the weather models for next week's 10 days. Tomorrow, I think we're going to have some autumn analogues for you. We'll have the Gaz Sunny Roundup, and we're also going to do more long-range stuff tomorrow when we'll have a look at the ECMWF and Meteo France seasonal models, and they'll be taking us through to the end of the year as well. So more long range coming up as of that'll be tomorrow afternoon. But at 20 minutes, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.